This is a very dangerous time for me to be shooting a video because about this time of day, welcome to the Keller Williams office. This is crooked. Cheap. Welcome to the Keller Williams office in Wilmington, North Carolina. It's 4:23 and I'm starving. About a year ago, I convinced myself that thing called intermittent fasting was a good idea. Not to lose weight. I wasn't interested in losing weight. I was interested in saving time. And this sounded wonderful. You just starve yourself all day long, you don't eat, and then you, like a water buffalo, you make your way to the refrigerator and eat everything in sight. That is one sidestep away from an eating disorder, but damn does it save you some time during the day, because otherwise you gotta have breakfast, and then you gotta stop working and have lunch, and take care of yourself. I can't be bothered with that. Who the hell has time for that? No. So a year ago, and it's awful. It sucks so bad. You stop eating, at least I stopped eating at midnight. And then, of course, leading up to midnight, you're like eating like as though you're going to have surgery the next day because you know you're not going to get food for a while. And then you're supposed to just, not think about food. But that's what happens. People tell you when you watch YouTube videos about this nonsense is that you will have such mental clarity when your body is not just confused and busy burning calories and trying to digest, that instead you will have all this mental clarity and focus, razor sharp focus. And that's true. You do have razor sharp focus on food. That's all I think about all day long. Food and real estate. That's it. You can pick which side of the clock you want to starve yourself on. And I chose during the day because I like to sit in my pajamas at night and eat snacks and watch Netflix. So I don't want to not be eating after 4 p.m. So like 5 p.m. is when I can reunite with the food. And so at 4:25, I am like a honey badger. And it will kill your social life. Not that was important to me. But when people ask like, hey, you want to get together after work? You're like, no, I just want to go be one with the food. I just want to be by the food. I just want to see the food. I want to smell the food. I want to be around the food. I want to be in my pajamas in the food. So at 5 o'clock, I get to go to Sam's Club up in the club and get the food. And then I don't call me, don't text me. Me and the food. It's awful. It's awful, but you do save a ton of time. And some people lose weight doing it. And I think that's because you're actually starving yourself to death. It's really bad. Anyway, let's do some news, right? Our little news show we got going on here. This stuff is more fascinating than some of the other stuff. I may move into like normal, regular news to provide my sparkling commentary on, but I tried that last time and so many people got their feelings hurt and I just didn't feel like dealing with it. I can't deal with it until I've had food, and I've not had food right now. So we'll stick on the more vanilla topics so that the fragile people on the internet don't send me 20-page long emails about I don't read them, so I don't know what they're about, but I have gotten them. Anyway, all right, let's start with breaking news. Canadians, they seem so nice, but they are some tricky MRFers. The Canadian border has been shut down since the spring because of coronavirus, but shut down in an odd way because there was this little loophole that they overlooked. You're not allowed, if you're an American or Canadian, to cross over the border, but you can fly over. Now, Americans can't fly to Canada. I don't know why you would. But Canadians can fly into the U.S. So they've gotten around their annual road trip into America. I mean, all these other countries make fun of America. They talk about how awful we are, how bad everything that we do is, but then they all want to come here. You will meet a lot of Canadians in RV parks in the winter because up where they live, it's hell on earth. It's negative bajillion degrees and none of the mooses are out playing and it's cold for 10 months of the year. And so they come down here. They come down here to be with us, the people they don't like. Anyway, to get around this whole situation with the border closing, what they're doing now, these sneaky Canadians, is they're hiring towing companies and shipping companies to tow their RV across the border, and then they fly across and meet their RV on the American side. Now, I don't care who you are, that's funny. That is some sneaky shit. I have to applaud you, Canadians. I mean, I've been to Canada a couple times. It's lovely. The people there are really nice. It's obvious that they don't like us, but that is some ninja level loophole making right there. Oh, the solar power people will love this. There are plans with Camping World, which people have really mixed feelings about. They're actually not mixed. Most people just really resent Camping World. And then, hold on, Lordstown Motors. They are partnering up to make the very first e-trailer. There's actually a cuter name for it. It's Class E. That's not cuter. Anyway, the point is they're going to start making travel trailers that are completely battery powered, meaning you will not need a generator. I am a huge advocate of the lithium-ion batteries. I've tested many of them. And so if we can start moving into a trailer infrastructure that has just silent batteries and rechargeable, that's great. You know, the problem with batteries, though, is that once they drain, tick, 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 like it takes a while for them to power up. I certainly hope that they ask EcoFlow, which has that super fast recharge rate on their batteries, to work on this, because if you run out, it's not like a generator where you fill it up with gas. You know, for all the trash talking I do about solar, what I always remind people of about solar, because it sounds nice and it makes you feel like you're saving the world, even though you're not, but it makes you feel good about yourself as a person. When we have a hurricane or a natural disaster, is there ever a line to get the solar powered panels, or are the lines at the generators? The lines are at the generators, because when you truly need power, when you truly need it, you are not going to wait for the sun to do its thing. You want to take a nice gallon of gas or diesel and just put it in there and just have it work. Yeah, that's a great thing about those fuels. So it's something to think about if this does become like the future, is just keeping an eye on those battery levels. You know, I don't think that's too much to ask people to do. And frankly, if they came out with one that could stay charged for a couple days, I'd buy the damn thing. But we're going to have to wait and see, because these two are not going to have something out to the public until, best case scenario, 2022. So you're going to have to just suffer and drill until then. Now, they are also going to partner with Good Sam. I think that's funny language, because Good Sam and Camping World are like one and the same, but they're going to partner with Good Sam to make sure that there are plugs available so that you can actually charge your RV. And here's where it gets really tricky, because if you want to be the BLM thing, like out in the middle of nowhere, you're going to have to line up your charging stations and how long it's going to last. But you know what? All these things are a lot of the changes that are just coming down the pipeline anyway for the future. And so while I may be poking holes in different ways that it's not going to work, I think the future is a lot of things are going to run on lithium-ion batteries. And we will be charging and recharging. And I think that's great. I mean, if we can be less reliant on other countries for fuel, then wonderful. But we're going to go through, like any new product, some pretty bumpy roads, no pun intended. That would be a really pathetic pun. I did not intend that. Getting these things to market and then making sure that you can actually use them, because what does everyone in an RV want? They want to be able to go long distances. They want to be able to park without a plug and have it last for at least several days and not just a couple hours. So we'll have to see on that. Walmart. When I came back from my trip in the spring, my Walmart, where I built a TV news career getting video of people shooting heroin and prostituting in the parking lot, like, this is my Walmart. These are my people. I love that Walmart. Love it. And everyone knows how big of a fan I am of Walmart. The parking situation, when I came back and I had to spend a night there, well, there were suddenly all these signs that said no overnight parking. And I was like, whoa, when did this happen? And a man with a giant belly driving around in a truck with some lights. And I thought, this is not what we do. This is not what we do. With coronavirus and with some other changes, you're going to be harder and harder pressed to find a Walmart that's going to allow overnight camping. Now, when I was in the van, I stayed in plenty of Walmarts that said no overnight camping, and I just stayed there. But I was in a van, it blended in a little bit more. If you are in a Class A, B, C, travel trailer, fifth wheel, you're reliant on those parking lots that allow it. And this is kind of goes back to the overall theme of this whole channel about not waiting to do things, because people ruin everything. I'm sure some of this has to do with coronavirus, because a lot of the stores that were super centers are really the ones where you can park overnight and have no issues. I'm sure the coronavirus and having them adjust their hours had something to do with it. But I think the bigger reason is that people just ruin things. I can't tell you how many times I would pull into a Walmart late at night, and like there would be the millennial couple and their shelter dog and their 2.5 children, and they would be out in the parking lot like playing a game or cooking or inhabiting the parking lot. And where the RVs park, there tends to be more trash. And I think just on liability alone, Walmart is just not having it anymore. And that sucks, because my entire trip was built around Walmart. I really like Cracker Barrels. The thing I'll tell you about a Cracker Barrel, though, I think there's a generational thing going on there. There's a lot of retirees who that's where they stay, and they tend to have these humongous Class A RVs, which are not a problem, except they run their generators all night long. And that, when you're sleeping next to that, is absolutely dreadful. Walmart, there's sort of this unspoken rule that you did not run your generator. I mean, I was struggling and suffering in my van, and I didn't run it because that was the deal. All right, so at this point, it used to be, within the decade, it's gone from 78% of Walmart parking lots around the country allowed overnight parking, and now it's down to 58%. I don't think that's going to last much longer. I think just on liability, they don't need it. They don't need it. They don't need to let you, but like, they're not making any money off of you. Now, if Walmart was smart, knowing that this is such an in-demand service, they would put some 30 and 50 amp plug stations with a credit card slot. You pull in, you swipe, you pay for your power, and then you go. Like, I would be totally fine paying like $10 to sleep in a Walmart parking lot. No more than that, but $10 is fine. So back to what I was saying is that the whole world is turned upside down, and I just hear from so many people that, you know, they send a long email with all the reasons why they're not traveling, they don't have the RV, they're waiting for this, they need that. And I get some of that because I had to plan out everything that I've done, and it took me about a year. But waiting. The rest of the world is going to keep changing. If Walmart disappears, if Cracker Barrel, like, then you're chained to a park. Well, what's the big problem we have with parks right now? There aren't enough of them to service the number of RVs out on the road. And they're getting up to $75, $100 a night in some places. So this, I hate to say that everything that I did and what so many of the other travel channels you watch may be a bygone era, but after coronavirus, it may be a bygone era. So get the damn thing and do the damn thing, because I just don't think that that sort of freebird, untethered, park wherever is going to last too much longer, especially if you are in a large RV like the War Wagon. Governor Gavin Newsom, California, brilliant mind. I think his whole state hates him. He put a stay-at-home order earlier this month. It was in one of our other news stories, and it shut down the park. Well, when that happened, there were some parks that came out and said, no, we're not actually shut down. The media jumped the gun and got it wrong. So here's where there's like some gray area, and this is not as sneaky as the Canadians, but like getting close to that sneaky. You are not allowed to be traveling around if you're not essential. So the RV parks in California, they are allowing essential employees or people who are essential to being on the road, long-term residents and long-term reservations, but you are not supposed to accept a recreational reservation. So if you're essential, so that's the secret word. That's the safe word in California. You are traveling for essential reasons and you are willing to sign a waiver. Write that down. I don't know why anyone would go over there right now and travel, but because everything's going to be shut down, even if you get there. But that's the deal. You're essential and you will sign a waiver. And that is your RV and travel news for this week. I am going to be slammed the next couple days with some post-licensing training, some new listings coming out, just a lot of stuff. So y'all are going to have to give me a little bit of grace. And apparently I hear it's Christmas. So we'll try to get a couple more videos in this year, but it's going to be really tough for yours truly. So be nice about all that. And yeah, let's talk about that battery travel trailer. Like, what are the kind of features you would want to see on it? Or more importantly, how long would it have to last before you'd have to plug it in? I know what my number is. Tell me what yours is. Put it in that damn comment section, and I will see you weirdos later.